Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow humans. Welcome to Stranded Survivors. My name is Matt. I'm one of your co-hosts.
My name is Jericho. I'm a host of the Stranded Survivors podcast, and we have a very special guest today. It is Chipzz. Chipzz, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thank you all so much for having me. How are y'all doing?
Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I've seen a few episodes. I definitely tuned in for the one with Nettie. Good friends with Nettie and done some stuff with him in the past. So excited to be here.
Hey, that's solid to hear, man. What's new for you? First off, I mean, I know you got a lot going on, but what's new? What do you want to share with us about what you got going on the past few weeks?
Well, obviously, moving over to Ascended now with it coming out. Just kind of getting used to it. Just finished wrapping up on the recording of the first 100 days there on Ascended for the island. So just full, head in the ground, just doing all the editing on that and stuff. So that's the main thing. Talking through gearing up and stuff for another Monarchy season and everything. I obviously can't really share much about that, but we're planning stuff. I can say, I guess, probably.
Okay. I'm looking forward to that. I'm really excited to see what you guys are going to pull off here in the upcoming season. I mean, I know there's not much you can share with us, but as far as preparation goes, like, what do you mean by that?
Just spitballing ideas on like what we want to do. If we want to take any kind of different approaches, and then obviously who we want to invite for the next season, that kind of stuff. Just getting all the prep work done.
That makes sense. I bet that's a lot of behind the scenes moving parts and stuff.
Oh yeah. There's tons going on.
So other than Monarchy, is there any other like big things you got planned? You said you got the 100 days, you got Monarchy coming, or are you just kind of focusing on Monarchy now?
That's going to be kind of, I guess, probably my main focus. I think this go around, I'm probably going to do 100 days of it just because it's kind of, what works best for me. It works best for a lot of people, but, so I think I'll try to do that more. So it won't be so much like constant Monarchy content as much as it will be, something that comes towards the end of the season. But other than that, trying to get some more building stuff done. I've, kind of trying to test the waters and seeing how the building works. Because I used to do tutorials, obviously, so done a few of those, done a few sort of like 1 minute, 10 minute, 1 hour challenge type of things. I might continue doing some more of those, see if they pick up and start doing well. And I have another idea that I guess I can sort of share where I built in the last season of the Monarchy, I built a sort of like Fall Guys style obstacle course challenge type of thing. So I've kind of been looking through the idea of maybe doing something like that, but kind of capitalizing on that 100 players challenge that some people are doing and just bring in a bunch of people and put them through this challenge and stuff. So
that would be so
that's something
fun.
That once I wrap the 100 days, yeah. But it's another big, I've been doing a few big projects, so it's like I got to find time, with work and family and all that.
Yeah, definitely.
I can imagine. That's a lot of time consuming stuff.
But, we make it work, stay up late. That's like, I'm sure you guys know. I'm sure you guys are going through similar stuff.
Oh yeah, 9 to 12 is grind o'clock.
Yeah.
So you said you've done a whole bunch of 100-day videos here, and you're sort of, branching out to other things. You talked a bit about the 1 minute, 10 minute, 1 hour builds, and that's something that I've never really seen that done for Ark. I see a lot of it for like, YouTube drawing tutorials and stuff, but I haven't. Yep. Can you talk me through that process? Because like that's a new concept to me, and I think that that's really cool.
Yeah. So actually, the way it even came to was I was talking. So in the Monarchy, we have a channel in our Discord where it's like basically just YouTube advice. Like real cut and dry, honest. Hey, what do you think of this thumbnail type of stuff? And I was actually weighing the idea of starting a second channel for my building stuff because I kind of feel like the algorithm isn't really working for me on the building stuff because of the 100 days stuff and like two kind of completely different audiences that are interfering with each other and this type of thing. And somebody kind of threw the idea to me. They were like, there's a thing that really works well in Minecraft that people do where they do these 1 hour or 1 minute, 10 minute, 1 hour builds. That's something that you could probably try for Ark. And I mean, the first two I've done did pretty well compared to some of my other building stuff. So it's something I probably want to keep doing. Basically, you just come up with a theme. So the first one was modern house, and the second one was like an egg farm. And then it's just you got a minute to do it, you got 10 minutes to do it, and you got an hour to do it. A lot of it's kind of already worked through the idea, have a pretty good idea of what I want to do. And then it's just a matter of like how quickly can I build something and add details to it and whatnot. And I mean, both of them that I've done so far, I think I came up with some pretty cool builds throughout it.
I was just gonna tell me, honestly, I enjoyed watching, the egg one. That was cool to watch, like, just how fast and like, just watching everything, watching you do that. Like, I haven't thought of those ideas before, so those were pretty cool to watch.
Have you, in either of those two videos, did you come across a moment where, because I mean, like, obviously an hour that's 6 times the length, so that's a big difference there, but the 10-minute build, did you ever, sometimes people are able to get it done short and sweet and they have a soft spot for it. So did either of the 1 or 10-minute builds hit a soft spot for you, or are you sticking true to that 1 hour one at the end there?
So the modern house, the 1 minute one it's nothing. It's like a square. It's not usable or anything. I actually do sort of like the 10-minute modern house better than the 1 hour one, almost because like I kind of came up with an idea for the hour and I thought it would take me an hour and I was finished in like 35 minutes. And then I just kind of had to like figure out other stuff to try to add on. And I, don't know that it was things I would have really wanted to add, but I was just trying to, continue building for another 25 minutes. The egg one, the 1 minute egg farm is like ideal. Like it's a simple little, pillar with a ceiling on it. You put your UD up there and then you surround it at the bottom of it with more. And it works really, it's very efficient, a very good, easy build to use. But I did really like the design of the hour-long one. It was like more of a factory type of look and something a little more modern and different than I think what a lot of people would have done.
Honestly, like you said, I also liked the look of the later one, the hour one. Like you said, all the other ones work honestly just fine. It's just, one takes a little longer. But, kind of I would say veering off a little bit with that topic is, like, with these videos, with different things, like, who are some creators you kind of want to collab with this year?
Oh, man. Sorry. Man, I've been very fortunate. Like, I've done a lot of collabs with a lot of great people. Wow. My dream collab, obviously at this point it probably would never happen because he is off on a boat doing his own thing now.
Man.
But my dream collab would to be, if Slipgator ever came out of retirement, to get to jump in some kind of thing with him or bring him into Monarchy or something. Man, that's tough because a lot of people that I like have wanted to play with, I've already played with. I guess there's always the big names like Syntac and Axeman that everybody wants to get a chance to do something with. They've kind of branched out and started doing a little bit more stuff with other people, so maybe there's a chance at that at some point. But yeah, other than that, maybe get back to doing some stuff with Aaron Longstaff. Me and him obviously used to be in Architects together, so haven't actually like done anything with him in a while. But I've actually even never floated it to him, but kind of brainstormed to myself the idea of playing off of Vino and Ross Clark's Dingle Cup thing with something like the Bingle Cup or something, and it be more of like a building challenge focused thing, and reaching out. So maybe that's something I'll reach out to him and see if he'd be interested. But it's a good question.
It's pretty solid when you get a chance to work with a lot of different big names. And I mean, you said you've worked with most of the people you do want to work with. Out of all of them, which one did you vibe the best with, have the best time with? I mean, who's your main man, if you will, when it comes to all the collaborations you've done? Who's your favorite? If you don't want to single anyone out, that's fair too. I don't want to put you on the spot.
I don't want to single anyone. I don't want to single anyone out. I could say like each. I did early on. I did some of the building for Netty the Noodle's early survival stories, and the behind the scenes of that is a lot of fun, a lot of goofing around, a lot of Netty trying to get people to focus and get the recording and stuff, and a lot of people, doing inappropriate things and just laughing and whatnot. So that was a lot of fun. And, obviously working with Netty and getting to have my builds be a part of that and see it come to life. But even also just, the behind the scenes goofing around with the body actors and whatnot. Architects, a lot of great builders and stuff. I learned a lot about building, took a lot of great advice. I obviously getting into YouTube doing building and then getting to then have Aaron Longstaff reach out to me about joining them was, like starstruck type of moment almost. That was big. I would say that's probably my biggest one, just because at the time that it happened, I was like primarily focused on building. So to have like the biggest name in building on YouTube recognize my building and reach out to me. That was probably the one that meant the most, I guess, at the time. And then obviously Monarchy, there's a lot of great people, a lot of fun, a lot of great laughs and whatnot. So it's been an absolute blast.
Getting an opportunity to like do all these builds and stuff, because in Survival Evolved I was a huge builder, absolutely loved the building game, but I've just like had all these menial tasks that I've been distracted with, focused on for Survival Ascended. I haven't had a chance to dive into that too much. So I mean, what is your opinion of the new building mechanics and the changes they've made compared to the two games?
Sorry, honestly, I'm not a huge fan, like just being real with it. Like, they've made some great little changes, like being able to sink walls into the ground. You know, like, so now if you're building on pillars, you don't have to have those ugly gaps. You can drop a wall down into the ground. The clipping on official settings, the clipping doesn't affect going downward. So like stuff like that's great. But like, I was actually talking to one of the old like builders that I used to build with a lot more, Vlad, about this, and I just kind of feel like they've simplified it a little too much. Like, it almost feels like they made the new building system more of like the, you know, like the old ASE mod packs where it's just kind of cookie cutter, you know, here's your pieces, put them together and it's going to make you a castle type of stuff. I don't know. It took away from a lot of like the new building system. I think takes away from a lot of the creativity of like, I'm going to use these tricks to make my build look like a Viking house. I'm going to use these tricks to make my build look like a, you know, like an Asian house or something, you know, like an Asian temple. There's just a lot of builds that I've seen so far just kind of look similar in a way.
You're not wrong. They do. A lot of them look very, very similar. It seems to be that, like you said, the cookie cutter format has, it almost reminds me of the prefabricated houses you see in subdivisions nowadays, you know?
Yeah. I've seen a lot of, I haven't seen too many like tutorials out there yet that are like, you know, like this specific style of a house, like a Viking or, you know, medieval or something. You know, it's just kind of like large house or you know, dino house with dino pen or water house on a water, you know, tame or something. You know, it's but they all, I mean, they have not discrediting anybody. Like, some people have done some really great stuff, but there is just kind of it all looks the same in the end, sort of, to me, with like the railings upside down or the pillars snapped on the sides and stuff. Like, a lot of the tricks that I learned through working with people like Aaron about, like, you know, using this piece to snap this piece in front of this piece, and those different like tricks we would do to add like more detail to the builds and stuff to get them looking better, and get them looking above something that anybody could figure out and that you needed a building tutorial for. I feel like those are kind of gone, and now it's like I've seen a few on YouTube that I've caught my attention based on their view count, and like looked at them and been like, well, with just looking at the thumbnail, I know how to build this. Like, I mean, granted, like, you know, I do the building and stuff, but like, I don't need a tutorial. Like, it's pretty, you know, front and forward. Like, in every building tutorial out there, like, most people do like the little, you know, panning shots at the beginning where you kind of show off the build a little bit. And for mine, I tried to show less because it was like, so like, it is pretty easy to figure out, like, just from looking at the panning shot, how to build the build. You don't even really need the tutorial, which is something that content wise, maybe you consider doing, just like showcase videos or something.
Oh, I didn't even think about it like that. That's a whole new like depth of it that I didn't even consider.
I've actually thought about if they ever introduce like a mod or the ability to do, because I know that, like, for Ark 2 they talked about having like a tool where you can like copy a build out of like single player, and then you just need the materials and you can build it in like your server, which is something I think other games, maybe like The Sims and stuff, have done. So if they ever do introduce that tool, or if it becomes a mod or something, I've thought about switching up to just showcase videos, and then, you know, at the end have the link to the download to go get the build or something. If it's, you know, figure out a way to do it, I guess. Yeah, basically host a server or something with all of them on it where you can go in and copy it or something.
Dude, if they did that, I would lose my mind. You're right, The Sims 4 does have that, and that is such a huge quality of life fit thing for the people that either don't have the time or the patience to go through and make the intricate and beautiful things. So like, that's such a fantastic idea. They really need to follow through on that.
Yeah, I think they talked about it for Ark 2. There's something, you know, if Ark 2 ever comes out, there's something along the lines of that planned. But I mean, I personally would like to just see them pull some of those ideas from Ark 2 into ASA, and let's just call it a day and move forward.
Oops. You said if Ark 2 comes out. I hear a shadow of doubt in your mind.
I mean, there's I just don't see how it could happen. Like the rumor or the deadline now, I guess, is this November or something like that, or the end of this year. I don't I don't know how you could say it. Like how you could possibly believe, like, or have faith that it's coming this early when, like, we're still like I don't think they would want to be releasing ASA maps and then just be like, all right, here's the other game. Like you already have your community pretty split between the two existing games, let alone to add a third one into it.
There we go. My man's preaching knowledge now.
That's the biggest thing, though, is these players are really split. And that's like one of the things I've been kind of saying to people that I've either been meeting or just talking to is, the community is really split right now. Like, do you think that there's a way to fix the community to either be able to have them transfer over to Ark Survival Ascended, or do you think like it's all but done now?
It's just going to have to be time. More maps are going to have to come out. There's nothing they can do right now. More maps are going to have to come out. Maps are going to have to, or like, the issues are going to have to improve. Like there's going to have to be a real concrete, like we've got more content. We've got, the content's fixed. You're not coming into a buggy game. And I mean, we probably just need some time for the last gen console to kind of, or the current gen consoles to be like the go-to consoles, like you're not seeing people with the old Xboxes anymore, the old PlayStations. They all have PS5s and whatnot. That's until people are almost like forced to make that upgrade to get any game. Like we're probably going to be pretty split. I don't see a lot of people that are enjoying. There's not enough new features like in ASA to really like get someone to want to buy it, other than just the graphics. Like there's a few little quality of life things, like add in the babies and add in the tracking for crafting stuff. Like there's a few small things, but not a lot. Like it's not like it's a crazy different game with so many improvements. And like, yeah, I think it's just gonna be time. I don't think it's gonna be anything they can really pull the trigger on to get people over.
That's fair. We've had the discussion a few times in a few different episodes. When you say there's not much of a drastically different game, do you fall into the belief that this is like a lot of copy and pasted code from Survival Evolved, or do you think they truly recoded it? It's a hot debate.
I don't know enough about coding to really like say like, oh, I think this, like I don't want to be one of those people that's like on Twitter just being like, they just did this, like, I don't know, dude. I have a high school diploma. Like I'm not any kind of educated in the way to be like, no, I can look at this and I can tell like they just copied the code. Like I want to believe they didn't. Hopefully, I wouldn't put it past, cutting corners at the end if things were getting tight. Like, it happens in every industry and whatnot. But
true.
Yeah, I mean, just I think when you look at the fact that some of the bugs that existed are the same, that's probably why people are getting that red flag. It's like, well, if you build it from the ground up, how'd you make the same mistakes? But at the same time, there's some new bugs. So I mean, maybe they did build it from the ground up because there's new things that air out and happen. But
it's one of history's
I couldn't make an educated guess, I guess what I'm saying.
That's fair. We're in the same boat.
Yep.
Now, like I said, I'm a sucker for builds, and you being the building expert, I want to pick your brain a little bit. Now, what goes through your head for the creative process? Because, like, I'm looking at some of your stuff here as we speak, and I'm not going to lie to you. I'm probably going to try to steal that sunflower greenhouse base because that looks absolutely freaking sweet. The galleon looks really, really cool. So, I mean, first off, I wanna eventually get to like, what's your favorite one that you've ever done? Because you've got a lot of really cool ones to choose from. And how do you get the inspiration for this stuff? How do you, like, I understand you've worked with some really cool people that have trained you, but like, how in the heck do you come up with this stuff?
So honestly, the first thing I do, like if I like have an idea of what I want to try next, I just Google. Like it's straight to Google and look for just inspiration. Like whether it's, if it's a theme I don't really know and I'm just trying to get like, make sure I'm being like as accurate as possible, because I have had people comment before. It's like, well, technically this is more of a this style house, like it's first things trying to make sure I've got an accurate idea of what the build is supposed to look like. And then it's just honestly like looking for pictures of, concept arts or real life builds or whatnot, real life houses and stuff that I can pull inspiration from and try to take, like, usually I'll try to find like 3 or 4 pictures and then like try to incorporate a little bit from each one and just work through it, just get in the game and have the picture up on one monitor, the group of pictures on one monitor, and just kind of work through the idea and trying to combine them and get some different things going. There's a lot of builds, honestly, that you can probably, and it's not just me, like I think any builder might tell you this. There's a lot of builds that you could probably look at a build on my channel or on someone's channel and go to Google, and if you look long enough, you'll probably find the picture that build was inspired by. And me and Aaron have joked about this in the past, where like we've been on vacation somewhere and like drove past a church or something and been like, oh, hold on, honey, like pull over, we gotta take some pictures of this church real quick, because I want to build that. Like I think I could do that. And there's been legitimate times where like me and my wife have been on vacation, and we've like stopped somewhere so I could take photos of something that I was like, I want to try to build that when we get home.
Wow.
That's awesome. What vacation spot do you think was probably the most eye-catching that you did build? Like, or what one do you still want to build that you haven't done? I mean, where in the world are we talking here? There's a lot of different architecture to borrow inspiration from.
Yeah, there was it was a church. I want to say it was when we were in Monterey, California. We were down there because I lived in California for a while, and we were down in Monterey. We took like a little weekend trip down, and I want to say there was like a small church there. I think that's where it was. And I kind of used it, I think, for one of my churches. I didn't necessarily build it exactly. I just used like some of the ideas from it. Some of like the structural, just like the structural ways that, like the arches that it had on the sides or whatnot. I did actually, so when I was in California, I don't know if either of you have ever been over that way, but there's a kind of drive up coffee chain called Dutch Bros there that is like extremely popular. It's a West Coast thing. Coffee, energy drink infused, like caramel apple style, like slushy drinks and stuff like that. And me, obviously me and the wife, kids go there all the time when we were living there. So I did actually early on, like when I first started doing builds, I built a, what was essentially supposed to be like where you would make like kibble or any kind of recipes. But it was like a standalone building that looked like a Dutch Bros. That was supposed to be like a kibble / recipe farm area.
That's pretty awesome.
But yeah, I think you asked also what a favorite would be. I honestly would have to probably say like favorite thing is, I don't know if it's necessarily one of my favorite builds I've done, but the favorite thing to build is the arenas. I just like building the arenas. I think that's a cool, like big, large concept type of thing. And you can really add a lot of good details and whatnot.
Absolutely. Arenas are a lot of fun. I mean, especially if you're going to put some, handy little mouse tools for later that are going to be used as traps or surprises, or the opportunity is really high there. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah, I actually, I did recently, I reached out, obviously being in Monarchy with Ross and Vino, I reached out to them after I watched episode 1 of the Dingle Cup. And I was like, hey guys, like y'all want an arena? Like, because they were like, they're fighting on like a tree platform with like tech gates around it. And I was like, hey guys, I could build you something, So obviously they said yes, and I got in there and built them an arena that they're now using for the rest of season 3. And I'll probably reach back out at the end of the season and see if they want me to start on another one for the next season. And it's just my favorite style to build, so it's something cool to do. Obviously I already collab with them a lot, but another like almost like infinity stone of like things that are big on YouTube in the Ark scene that I'm like, I've been a part of that. I get to jump in there and be like, I got to build the Dingle Cup Arena. And my son loves it. He's my 10-year-old. He loves, like, he watches the Dingle Cup and he loves it. So like the moment that he saw the video, like I knew when the video that my arena was going to be in or starting to be used in was coming out, I made sure he was watching it and he was like, oh, that you built that, so like cool dad moment, I guess. Got some cool dad points with him from that.
Dude, that's dad awesome. To dad, that has to be such a surreal experience to be able to, just see them be proud of you like that for something that you love doing. That's got to be awesome, man.
Yeah, it's great.
What about in the opposite direction? What was the biggest headache that you've ever built? The one that made you want to give up?
I could look through maybe. Honestly, I want to like say this without like coming across as like cocky or like full of yourself, but like I really don't like. Usually a build, like I'll start a build and like within like 2 hours I'm like, all right, this is going where I want it to go. Like I don't really ever like sit there and just bang my head against the wall with some builds. I think like probably the most frustrated I've been building was like starting on ASA, like things that I was doing on ASE that aren't working now, and like, you know, difference in size. I'm just trying to like kind of relearn, I guess building was the most frustrating that it's been for me recently. Trying to think of like one build that's like really grinding me down, but I think I'm having too much trouble looking past all the times I've crashed trying to finish this 100 days video and gotten frustrated to think about building frustrations. Like,
Yes.
I've been so my wife actually yesterday was like, I told her about like when, you know, I was like, yeah, like the other night, blah blah whatever, and she was like, was that what that was? I heard you from upstairs.
Oh.
I was like, yeah. But man, off the top of my head, I don't know.
That's a fair answer. Just, you're so awesome. That's fair.
No,
I
it's
struggle
nothing like that.
I'm just being a smart aleck. I know what you mean, man.
I think honestly, like if you use like a reference picture, it really helps. Like, it really helps. Like I mean, I guess maybe that's the answer, is like when you have a reference photo. I couldn't necessarily tell you which one or what build it's been, but like there's definitely been some builds that I've had a reference photo of, tried, and then like scrapped it and been like, man, like I really wanted to, like I really thought that was gonna make a good build, you know, and like just not been able to get it to work. But if it's destroyed or somewhere, you know, I don't really remember off the top of my head which one it was now.
That's totally fair. I guess where my frustration comes in when I'm building, and maybe you can educate me and help me out here, but maybe I never had this problem in Survival Evolved, but Survival Ascended, I see a lot of snap point issues. So like the snap versus no snap building is a hot debate for me. I don't know which one's better, which one I prefer, but the snap points just kind of aren't doing it for me lately, you know?
So are you saying like you're looking for a snap point and you're not being able to find the one you're looking for, type of thing, or?
Yeah, or it cocks you out at a goofy angle, and it seems like when you go to the no snap building, it just, I don't know, I'm not able to place things where I feel like I should sometimes, and maybe that's just me being a dingus, and I got to get better and get good at the game. But have you noticed like snap versus no snap? Do you have a preference, or is it really just situational for you, as it probably should be? I guess, I don't know. Maybe that's a dumb question. I feel silly as I say it.
No, I think as far as like actual like structural building, like a house or something, I stick with having the snaps on. I will say, like, it seems like there are so many snaps that sometimes it does like act very finicky with trying to find the one you're looking for. Like you're trying, like, I am clearly looking above this piece to try to get the snap point to put this railing on top of this wall, and it like keeps wanting to move it to like another spot down or something. Like you really have to look for like the exact, like there's like, I did my first tutorial with crosshairs off because it just looks better, you know, like it looks cleaner not having like a crosshair in a HUD on. But I started doing like the rest of them with the HUD on because I couldn't, like, the amount of times I had to re-record a step because I messed up, and I don't want to, you know, show me destroying stuff because I can't tell where I'm snapping because the HUD, you know, like I don't have the crosshair of the HUD to point to a spot that I know is going to work. Like if you point here on the wall, you're going to get the railing to place where you want it, type of thing. It's definitely I think snap points are a little, as weird as it sounds, because snap points were very frustrating sometimes in the old Ark. I think they are a little more finicky now. The only time I use the no snap is to place like a generator down or something, like, because it's just so like so space consuming to place it where it wants you to place it. Like it does not let you place things, like you would think it would hug it to a wall, but it places like in the middle of the room or something. But yeah, I think the snap points are a little more finicky. Whereas the old version, you know, you just kind of occasionally had one where you tried to place it here and it just didn't place there and destroyed a wall and you had to, you know, whatever. But this time it's like you're fighting it sometimes to get it to even try to place where you want it to. But once you get it to where once you get the right snap point on the screen, it does seem like it's more consistent with placing it where you're trying to and not like randomly snapping it somewhere else.
You're not wrong. That is definitely better. I'll give you that.
Man, I've dabbled a little bit into building. I mean, I built something on our little official PVE server. Nothing crazy because I'm not a crazy man. But, you know, you kind of said earlier in the episode that, you know, a lot of these builds you feel like are the same to you. Do you think that, you know, there's a way to make them different? Or do you think that with just, you know, kind of how everything's set, that the standard is just going to be the same?
I mean, I think when you introduce some more materials, well, I guess the only more material it introduces is Adobe, but obviously Adobe will help because you'll be able to start using Adobe for like I use Adobe a lot for flipping it around to get the wooden planks to use it for like medieval style or is it Tudor? I don't know how you actually pronounce the word, but medieval style houses or like German style houses look really good with the flipped adobe. So getting that in there will really help. I mean, other than that, like I guess you just kind of, I don't know. Like I've seen some creative builds where like someone did like a very like steampunky looking build, using a lot of metal and like the paint, I guess, like using paint to kind of like alter the way things look. And so it's, not just the typical material look. Other than that, like I've just seen so much of the pillars and the railings like flipped upside down thing. That's just the go-to move right now. If you don't have pillars and railings flipped upside down in your build, then is it even an ASA build at this point? But yeah, I don't know. Like a lot of tricks you used to do don't work anymore. Like you can't do the thing because you can't snap walls on top of fence foundations anymore. At least or you can't snap fence foundations on top of like ceilings and stuff. I don't think there's something like that. You can't snap used to use 3 fence foundations next to each other on a ceiling to then double up triangle walls to make it look like a Viking, like the peak of a Viking roof or like the edge of a Viking roof. And you can't do that anymore. So there's just those small tricks have kind of gotten taken away. I'm sure there's some stuff that people are going to start figuring out soon. And if I was doing more time on building and less on the 100 days, I would have figured out some stuff now. But it's just going to take practice and for builders to get more hands on with the game. I think to start getting some techniques to take in and make your builds unique.
Yeah, I do.
That's fair.
I think that eventually it can be very much different or whatever, like you said, once new things come out, the Adobe is going to make things look at least a little bit different and people be able to kind of figure things out. But I just want to know, I haven't whatever, but have you done anything with the trap doors, like the secret?
No, I haven't. I put one on top of a roof. So I did. I think I might know where you're going with this. I don't know, maybe I put one I had a tower in my castle and I put one up it. And I could not for the life of me get the ladders to work coming down it. They just did not want to snap to each other. I don't know if it, I was starting to think I'm an idiot. I can't get this to work. I don't know if it's a thing, if anybody else has struggled with that. I wasn't going to put it out there on the internet to ask the question because I was too embarrassed, but it's fine. I'm saying it now. But yeah, I felt like I couldn't get it to work. I don't know why. You used to also do this thing where you would place a hatch frame, put a trapdoor in it, and then replace the hatch frame with a ceiling to destroy it, and then you could remove the ceiling and the trapdoor would float, and you could use that for different little things, flip it up and down for some stuff. But you can't do that now because the ceilings are all everything is the the one rotating piece, so you can't replace a trap or a hatch frame with a ceiling because it's the same piece now technically.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that.
But I guess the quarter ceilings and the quarter walls kind of make up for that a little bit. You can just use one of those instead of a trapdoor.
Spending most of your time, most of your energy coming up on 100-day videos, you said, the editing process?
Yeah, right now. Yeah, just on the grind trying to get this I just finished recording it last weekend. Not this most recent, not this weekend, but the weekend before. So I've just been editing, trying to do some new things. One of the coolest things with the 100 days and I guess the fact that I do have a wife and kids and I do have a full-time job and whatnot, so I don't I can't just sit home, and it's not a full-time thing for me, so I can't pump one out every 3 weeks or 3.5 weeks or something like some people can. It takes sometimes 3-4 months for me to get one done. I think one of the coolest things is that that gives me a chance to really come up with some new edits and stuff for each one. It's I don't fall into the routine of just I'm pumping these out so quick that I know exactly how I'm going to do it, and this is my routine to do it and get it done. There is a chance to sit back and think before going into the editing process and come up with something new. And this one, I talked about it a lot because I streamed the first half of it. I streamed while I was recording, and then I just ran into too many issues with streaming and recording at the same time. I just had to finish it just without streaming it. But while I was streaming, I was talking about how I wanted to do these little character shots when we would tame something on stream. I would ask them for a name, put it up to a poll. We'd pick a name, and then I would go take a little, no HUD on, no hands hidden type of shot of the tame. And I was telling them, I was like, I want to do like for the next 100 days in the editing, I want to do like Borderlands style intros for all my tames. So like if I get a tame, you know, and be like, and now we named it, blah, blah, blah. And then have like the, you know, cutaway where like the thing slides in and like a few logos pop up or something, and have like the name with like a funny catchphrase under it. So that's the new edit I'm working on for this one. And it's kind of a time consuming edit to do for every single tame, but I think it's really going to be good.
That's going to add a lot of flair and flavor to it. I like that idea. It's
Yeah,
gonna
I
make
think
it very unique.
yeah, I'm trying to find a way to stand out a little more, because they're getting pretty saturated. I've seen a lot of 100 days, and I've seen a lot of comments from people who are some people are getting tired of them, but it's what's big right now, you know. You kind
I
of
was gonna say that's pretty big right now.
yeah, you gotta find, like I've definitely seen some people out there that have you know, made the comment of like, oh, someone needs to do something new, like this isn't unique anymore, someone needs to do something new. And it's like, well, I mean, you try to do something new and it doesn't work. Like, you know, if you're doing this YouTube thing and you want to grow, you kind of, at a time, you do kind of have to do what works for you. And what, like, I would love to do more building tutorials, but unfortunately, like, it's not working as well as the 100 days are. So I kind of have to dedicate my time, what time I have, to doing them.
Yeah, and honestly, you know, maybe you could just build Hogwarts like they did in the Minecraft video, and maybe you'd go like very viral.
Yeah, they did that. The architects did that since I've
Did
left.
they?
Yeah, there was they did an event about a year ago now, maybe a little over a year ago now, that was a like movie madness event, and they had like sets from different movies, and one of them was Hogwarts. I think
Wow.
Songbird built it,
Wow, that's awesome.
and it was impressive. Like, it was very, very impressive.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Or, you know, the other thing you could do is like Ark's first UFC match and make like a UFC boxing ring with people in the stands, and then have everyone go and do a season. Yeah.
Yeah, try to
Let's
like, I know
go.
I saw Axeman, I think, did like a Survivor, what was it, Amazing Race recently. That's kind of a cool like concept of like capitalizing on something like that.
That's awesome.
Do Deal or No Deal. Oh, that's coming back now, I
Yes.
think, on TV.
Hey, there you go, man. Wheel of Fortune,
Dude.
Deal or No Deal.
Yeah,
Game
it's all
shows
kinds of
would be a lot
game
of
shows.
fun. That would
But
be
yeah,
so
I mean,
much
there's-
fun.
I think the 100 players obstacle course thing might do well. Those 100 players videos do very well. It's just
Yes.
a matter of, will people watch people just taking on a random challenge in Ark rather than like actually playing through it.
Depending on what the challenge is, if you can combine it with a good pop culture reference, I think you'd be golden, man. Like the Squid Games videos are always hot right now. Those were big in GTA for a long time.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody did those in Ark. I think maybe someone might have, but I don't remember it. So now I kind of want to say maybe no, because I don't remember
I've
how
never
well it
seen
did or
one.
something.
Free idea, it's all yours.
It might be a little too late on that one now. I wait for Squid Games season 2 to come out.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go, yeah.
I guess the Hunger Games has probably been done too, I would assume.
Man, I
That's
don't care
pretty
how many
much
times that's
survival of the
been done.
fittest.
Yeah, it's pretty much survival of the fittest, but I really think you could gussy it up a little bit and make it a
more, yeah.
little closer.
Yeah, that's a big thing, you know, on YouTube, is like, if you play one game, like you only play Ark, and that's the game you're going with, like you kind of have to like try to look outside of Ark and try to look at other, like if you want to like be one of those channels that gets big, you know, you have to be the first one to like look at Minecraft and be like, oh, well, someone did this in Minecraft, let me see if that could translate to Ark. Like the 100 days, I got pulled from Minecraft. Like it wasn't an Ark thing, you know. It got pulled over from Minecraft, and it worked really well. And then everybody jumped on it. And the civilization thing, the 100-player civilization thing, that was a Minecraft thing that got pulled over. And I'm sure there's more. Like I think Vino said that his Dingle Cup, Vino came up with the Dingle Cup idea, and that's just that was pulled from like a Pokemon thing that people were doing, like a Pokemon trend, where people would do something similar to that. So I think there was an existing thing in Pokemon, the Pokemon sphere, that was doing that sort of. I know people have tried the Pokemon thing in Ark, where you can only tame like one of a creature, and once it dies, you're done. You can't get another one, type of thing. I forget what it's called though, but it's also a Pokemon. It's like Mukbang or something like that.
Something like that. Sounds familiar. Isn't mukbang the eating thing?
It's something similar to that. Then I don't know.
What about these skits? Yeah, your little Ark skits here. I think that's also an undertapped market. I think that like people are doing skits and stuff, sure, but like a whole variety show type thing coming out, that would be, I could get into that.
Yeah, it's definitely something like I've just always been like, I don't know, like I usually do them in like the form of a short, and I'm like kind of iffy on shorts, like if it really helps or not, or if it's like like basically you're getting these views but they're not translating it anything. So YouTube, like, the way YouTube looks at that, like what does the algorithm think when they see a channel get a bunch of views but the views don't translate to something else? Like I know I've never watched a short and been like, I'm gonna subscribe to that person. Like it's just like I usually just keep scrolling. So like the shorts are great, but I'm always kind of cautious of like doing them too, or like nervous about doing them. The ones I did, like the one like my most successful video is like almost at 2 million views, and it's literally a short of me like basically recreating the Ark like the Ark wake up animation, like waking up, scratching the arm, and then like doing a little bit like gathering each material, like what you do when you first wake up in Ark. And I did it like on a whim. We were on vacation, we were on a cruise, and like we were docked at the cruise line's private island, and like we docked there like in the mid-afternoon, and then we had like that rest of the day and then the entire next day on the island. So I was like, the boat opened at like 6 a.m. like you could get off, and I told my wife, I was like, hey, let's get up early tomorrow, I want to do this, like I want to do this thing. And it worked out, like obviously it's done really well. But I also, it's like a blessing or a curse, because I get so many comments all the time, I guess because of the way I titled it, where people are like really think that I'm trying to pull a quick one on them and like convince people that this is Ark or something, or like this is future Ark 2 leak or something. Like they don't see past the initial like fully tattooed arm of being like, this is obviously fake and obviously just a joke, like it's not meant to be taken seriously. But either that, or they just think I'm an absolute moron who was like, surely people won't recognize that I have a fully tattooed arm and no implant, and they'll think this is real.
Yeah.
But I mean, it did really well, and then I realized how well it did, and I tried to do another one last year when it snowed a lot. Around this time of the year, it had snowed a lot, and I was like, all right, let me do one in the snow, it'll be funny. And that one did well, but it didn't do as well as the other one did.
Yeah, and it's funny, like you said, just the algorithm of things. That's what kind of I'm trying to figure out for our YouTube channel or our short. Like I use shorts a lot right now just to kind of get things promoted, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But just trying to figure out the algorithm. You think you got it locked down. Next thing you know, you're getting 5 views instead of 10,000. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's so heartbreaking too. Like I used to my first time ever like having a video do well, like whatever, doing the building tutorials, they're doing all right. And then I had posted my first like egg farm that I did, a tutorial of it, and after like 4 months of it being out, just like randomly, just one like random day, it just started getting like, I don't know, like 5,000-10,000 views a day or something like that. And it happened, it lasted for like the course of like 4 days. Like for 4 days, it went from like 2,000 views to like up over 30 something, or like up over 40,000 views. And I gained a decent little handful of subscribers, and it was just like, oh my gosh, like it happened finally, one of them blew up. Like I'm like running, I'm like, yes, finally, like one of them blew up, like it's happening. Like I really thought these tutorials would be like a way to like really like get my channel moving pretty quick, like people want tutorials, and it finally one of them like caught on, YouTube recognized it, and like it's all up from here, baby. And then like literally, like I woke up one morning and it was like back to like 10 views an hour. I was like, what? No,
literally.
What happened?
Oh,
literally, things are crazy.
But the shorts are a great way for promotion, because like I was using them for a while, where I would do a build, and like a week before, like maybe like 4 days before the build would come out, I would release a short of it, and I would like be like at the end, be like, subscribe now so you won't miss the full tutorial or something like that. So it is a good way to like kind of like let people know what's coming. And I guess there's like a weird thing with shorts where it's like you're basically guaranteed, like almost guaranteed, a couple thousand views. Like it just happens. Like you just post it, and then like at some point within like the first 8 hours, it seems like everybody's shorts get like a little boost, and then from there it depends on how well it does. So like I looked at it in a way, it was like, well, at least at least like a couple thousand people might see this, and maybe catch a few people to come in and wait for the full tutorial.
Yeah. honestly, with the shorts, we've gained a lot of our we only got like 100 subs, but either way, like we've gained a lot of those just because we do shorts, so it's been cool.
Yeah,
But
they have their definitely have their uses.
But other than that, I kind of wanted to ask you, like, how did you get into content creation? How did you get into Ark specifically, and different things like that?
All right, so tell me how many people you have answered this with this answer. COVID.
Okay.
You've got to have heard it once, right? At least like once.
Yeah. I think,
So,
didn't
I
Eddie
mean-
say that?
That's what I want to say. I want to say
Yeah.
he did.
So I mean, it's just reality, like actually, I'll take that back. That's not right, because I had a YouTube channel. I had this YouTube channel, like I don't know, back in like 2016 maybe, and I was doing Ark like old fashioned, like just typical. I wanted to be Slipgator Ark Let's Play style videos, but I was like doing variety stuff too. So I was doing like, I think I started like the Mass Effect that came out at the time. I was doing like little small, indie games and whatnot, like just basically a variety gaming channel. And I did it for like 8 months, and I mean, I built up to like 1,000 subscribers after a while, because like one game that I was playing was called like Iggy's Egg Adventure, and it was like a Mario version, or a dinosaur Mario game, like a little like side scroller type Mario type game, but with a dinosaur. And it did like 100,000 views on like every video. Like there was like seven episodes, and it was like 100,000 views each.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I think it was like kind of a kiddie game, and I think maybe it was like one of those things that like mom just puts it on. All the kids are, and the kids watch it, and they watch all 7, and then they watch it again the next day. Like my daughter watches Frozen over and over again whenever we take a car trip, like a long car ride. So, but yeah, I think it was just like one of those things. So I kind of built up, and then went overseas for work, and got into a new relationship with my now wife and stuff, and just kind of got busy, and just stopped doing it. And then during COVID, just obviously just sitting around. I've always liked to build an Ark. That was kind of my thing to do. I was always the tribe builder and whatnot. So I started watching, I was like building for my tribe, and I like wanted to come up with an idea for like a specific style. I don't even remember what it was, but a specific style of house. And I was hitting my head against the wall. So I just YouTubed it. At the time when I was getting started, there was a guy named Unite the Clans, who was also getting started around the same time as me back in the day, and he was like a building channel, and I remembered his stuff. So I was like, well, let me go see if I can find like if anything he's done. And then I stumbled across Aaron, obviously now being the big name builder, and I watched one of his videos, and I was like, okay, this is pretty cool, And then I posted a build that I did on Facebook, and it blew up with a couple 200 or 300 likes like within the first day. And like people will like just comment after comment, be like, do you have the link for the tutorial? Like, is this a tutorial? Is this a tutorial for whatever? And so at that point I was like, okay, you know what? Like I could do this. Like I think I could do it. And it started rough. Like my first few tutorials, I was like, wow, dude. Like looking back on them, it's like, man, like these were not like, at least like the editing and like the flow and stuff were not good. But that's that's how I got started. It was just had the free time, saw an idea that I thought I could also try to do, and decided to try to do it, and then branched out from there. How I got into Ark, I used to be a DayZ player a lot. I used to just play DayZ all the time, just all day, every day. And I was watching a video, like one of those, like top 10 survival games coming out in 2015, and Ark was on there, and I was like, well, what is this? I've never heard of this. And then I found the interview. It's a very popular interview out there now, where it's like this random person talking to like the developers of Ark, and it's like an hour-long interview or something. And I watched that, and I was like, dude, this is, I mean, obviously, as most men grew up liking dinosaurs, or most people, I was like, this is it. Like, this is my game, and I played it day one on Steam Early Access in 2015, and been playing it ever since. So taking breaks here and there, but.
So we're all dinosaur nerds. You can agree on that. You've already put the cat out of the bag there. So what is your favorite dinosaur? If it's not in Ark, but if it is in Ark, what's your favorite team?
Oh, in Ark, definitely it's in Ark. It's the metal gathering man, Enki. Well, I say Enki.
Really?
I don't know if that's really the right way to say it. And Kai, I guess, and Ankylosaurus would be the right way to say it. But I just call them Anki, and I get flagged for it all the time because I don't say Ankai.
Really?
But yeah, I've just always loved them. I don't know. It's like a childhood thing. I don't know why. I've always loved them. They're always been my favorite dinosaur.
That's crazy.
Carnivore, I would say the what is it? It's not in Ark. It's in the mod. The Ceratosaurus or something. Is that how you say it? The one-horned one.
Yeah. Yep.
Not great with
Those
the
are
name,
pretty
to be honest, but I just like the look of it. I just think it looks cool. But
yeah, it's like a rhino cousin of a carno, I guess, is the way I would compare it.
Yeah.
Pretty solid choices. Can't go wrong there. I don't know if I'd pick the Anki, though. I mean, I love Ankis, don't get me wrong. They're iconic. They're really cool. If I had to pick an herbivore, though, I mean, obviously, I'm a huge Therizino fan. I'm obsessed with them. They're my favorite.
I don't know if that counts.
Yeah, I don't know if that counts either. Okay, touche. I guess if we're going real typical herbivore, I'm a sucker for any of the sauropods, and I'm always a sucker for parasaurs, to be honest with you. Ducky from The Land Before Time really hooked me on parasaurs. I
think the parasaur in Ark has a lot of like you can find like some really great color combos. Like I always love finding like a brownish or like tannish one with like a white face, and it looks like I always obviously if I tame that one, it's got to be named Cubone or Marowak or something, you know. Being a 90s kid and being a Pokemon, growing up with Pokemon, I name a lot of my tames after Pokemon. So like I always try to find that parasaur because it just looks cool to me. Like it has like a skull face on it.
You're not wrong. Pretty solid. Keeping in lines with, I guess, Ark favorites, what about maps? All the maps coming out this year, a lot of different people waiting for a lot of different things. What is your favorite map in the game?
For playing and like beauty alone, it's probably a pretty typical answer, but I'd say Aberration. There's something special about Aberration, and it has the Bulldog. And the Bulldog, if we're talking like a tame that came out because of Ark, like it's not a real creature, the Bulldog's my favorite. I have a French Bulldog, so. But as far as like what I want to do, maybe Ragnarok, because I've also been kind of like floating the idea to myself of doing like a 100 days, but like in creative mode, and having like, so basically being like, I have 100 days to build a dinosaur park containing every single tame on, in Ark, and try to build like something crazy, like I don't know if I get it done in 100 days, to be honest, but I think Ragnarok would be the best for that because it has like multiple biomes and a lot of flat spots and whatnot. But yeah, as far as like my favorite map, it's Aberration. I mean, I think that's a lot of people's favorites.
I would argue that point. I would say that Aberration is one of the answers I absolutely didn't expect. You're not wrong. Really? It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But like, maybe it's just because I didn't play enough Aberration to fully appreciate it necessarily, perhaps. But off the top of my head, it just seemed so inhospitable and frustrating to get started at first, Maybe maybe I just need to get good.
So I'd never played Aberration until I did 100 days for it, and I was like, people were asking me like, like whenever I posted like a community post about it or something, like about where like progress or whatnot, people would ask me like how I've enjoyed it, like reached out to me on Twitter or something even, and I've been like, dude, like I'm in love, like I love this map, and it's just something like the difference in mechanics, it's just like you have to be more like, I don't know, there's just a new like level of mechanics. Like Scorched added some new mechanics and stuff, but like at the end of the day, you still got an RG, you still flew around, you still tamed a bunch of wrecks, and then you're good to go. But like Aberration was like, dude, you gotta really like kind of, I liked the fact you had to like think outside the box and do different stuff, and you couldn't fly and stuff, like you could glide around, but at least until you get a rock drake.
That's true.
That is
so
very true.
Other than that, they got the new, like they kind of released the Ark, like the maps are incoming. And do you remember the one that said surprise?
Like the one coming in November or something?
Yeah. And I think they actually leaked what that was. I can't remember. But
so
like, are you excited for that?
I saw that it was like, it was filled in with Aberration's logo when it's like at some point, like the roadmap.
Yep. Yeah.
And like people were speculating that it's Aberration 2.
Yep.
I mean, I'm excited, obviously, like, yeah, like I want new content, like I want something different, like it's going to be fun playing through the maps, but like by the end of the 100 days on this one I just wrapped up, I was like, dude, like I'm God, I'm so sick of the island. Like, I don't want to go back. Like, I
Uh-huh.
was like, I don't know, like, what I'm, like, I hope that this, like, I'm gonna take my time and really edit this video because I don't want to, like, be like, okay, now we're gonna do this on the island. Like, but, so, I mean, like, I'm excited to see what they add to all the new maps, but, like, yeah, like, definitely eyes on the new one. Like, that's the one I want to see the most. I'm kind of on board with Nettie's idea that it's gonna be the other part of Extinction, like the other city or the before it got destroyed part of Extinction. I think that's the most logical one. I personally, if I had to choose or had to come up with an idea for them to like do, I really like the full all cards in, like, let's go with a theme, like Scorched Earth, Aberration, like they are completely different, like it's a whole new theme. I would love to see them do a water world type of thing, like even so far as like a whole new like underwater tames that are used for gathering like underwater rocks, underwater trees and stuff.
Oh no.
And like limited land. Hear me out. Hold on one second. I gotta get a drink.
That sounds
All right, hear me out.
I'm so scared just hearing it.
Like limited land, but instead of having oxygen tanks, like early game, you have the ability to breathe underwater. And early game, you get devices like in was it Black Panther 2 where they have the devices that help them like breathe above water?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
So like the game, you're based around being underwater, but like there's reasons to go, but like really good reasons to go above water, but you have to like have stuff to do it. I don't know. I mean, obviously, like it's probably too far fetched for anybody to really want for that to be like something that could become a thing, but I don't know. I love the water. I love the ocean. Well, not really the ocean, but like I love the idea of the underwater stuff. So we just got to get rid of that. We just got to hit that fog 0 command though, because we ain't trying to not be able to see anything under there.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I didn't find out about that until about, I don't know, 60 days into my 100 days that you could do that.
Oh no,
dude! I was literally I was looking for megalodons by like just going underwater and just floating until one found me. And then eventually someone told me about it in I think in the Monarchy Discord, and I was like, oh wow, man, this changes everything.
Yep.
Dude, I have extreme thalassophobia. I am terrified of the ocean in every video game, in reality, in Ark especially. So like the concept of an underwater map is equal parts intriguing and terrifying. As counterintuitive as it is, based on what I just said, Subnautica is one of my favorite games just for the sheer horror factor of it. So, I mean, if they could pull it off in Subnautica, I don't think it would be too far-fetched for them to do an Ark, and I think a lot of people would really get into that.
Yeah, especially like if you can get the tame where you, like if they bring that tame in that has the underwater tank, like the underwater like oxygen thing where like this is a Shastasaur or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're able to get that done and like do it for that kind of a map. I saw like the most recent, because like obviously like the reason the center was like allegedly the reason the center was originally going to be later was because they couldn't get that tame done, and then they were like, you know what, let's move the center up and let's just give them the was it the Gigaraptor?
Yep.
So like allegedly it's because of the saddle, like the saddle concept is like too much to do. But then I saw the mod spotlight last Friday where it had had an underwater tame with a saddle that's just like it. Like it looked like it was a guy in like an air bubble on top of the on the saddle. I was like, okay, well, it looks like it's doable. Like,
right?
Maybe just like make a bigger version of that, and then when you put a tame on it, you have like a setting. I don't know game development, but like, is there not a way to like, have a spin wheel option to tell like, like like the hitching post from that one mod, like hitch all your tames to that tame so they can't go anywhere, and then you don't have to worry about them clipping through the saddle or whatnot.
That would be pretty solid.
But I'll leave it to them. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot. Like, it's probably very hard to figure that out, like, or to get like that mechanic to work and stuff for something that's moving underwater and has all the world around it and whatnot.
For sure. And there's way smarter people than me that know a lot more about it. Because I mean, it's all foreign language to me. I mean, it seems like it wouldn't be too hard if you had that like base skill set to figure all that out. But I mean, maybe I'm just talking out my butt.
Yeah, that's the one thing that like I see a lot of people complaining on Twitter and stuff, or like, saying this. I was like, I don't think you truly understand how hard game development is. Like, I don't like. I have a feeling it's a lot harder than any of us who don't know anything about it. I have a feeling it's a lot harder than we even can imagine. Like, there's so much more.
Absolutely.
Like one thing, because I do like in my daytime job, I do like networking stuff, like routers and switches, and like there are times that like even in routers and switches, like one command can mess up a lot of other stuff, like, and they're not really like that reliant on, like, commands aren't that reliant on each other, but like just one command can affect other stuff. So like coding is like way different than that, or like way more advanced than that. Like one code can mess up everything. So I don't think people really understand that when they're like complaining about, you know, things not being fixed or whatnot, or things being broken.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they definitely don't think about that at all. So, you know, I would say this is kind of like a two-part little question that I have. So, you know, we have, with the new maps coming out, we got Scorched coming out and everything. And, you know, they're kind of like doing like microtransactions with the trains and different things, and they're kind of making us buy skins. What is your personal opinion on that?
I'm all for skins, and I'm all for like things that are solo or like PVE based. Like, I'll pay for skins. I don't care. Like, you know, I mean, I don't want anything ridiculous. Like, I don't want to see Master Chief running around my Ark. Like, let's be like, I'm one of the, like, I might be one of the few people that I don't like events, because I don't like the event colors, and I don't like running into somebody that's wearing a fairy costume. Like, I play Ark because I grew up loving dinosaurs, and the concept of like being on this dinosaur island is like my thing. So it's like when I run into somebody wearing like devil horns, or like, you know, I don't know, a fairy costume or a Santa costume, it's like, come on, man, like this is ruining my you know, immersion. So like I don't want like crazy skins. I don't want to see people running around in all different kinds of stuff. But like if it's something that makes sense, like, you know, you might have somebody in Western gear or something, like with the backstory of the Ark and whatnot. I'm all for that kind of stuff, as long as it's, you know, PVE based. And I mean, yeah, it costs money, but like, would you rather? I would rather them charge for more content that adds something, but it's optional, than, you know, something much more shady happening or whatnot, you know.
Yeah.
But I heard like in the pack there's talks about like the tunneling dinosaur that got voted on is coming with Scorch, like that's coming with the whole game. But there's another one supposedly coming too, allegedly, like a second new creature coming with Scorch that will be part of that paid pack, which, if that's the case, like I don't understand how they would do that, and I don't support them doing that if it's going to be like, if it's going to give people an advantage and it's a powerful tame and you can play with it, somebody that has it can play against somebody that doesn't have it. I don't really support that. But then the trains are kind of the same thing, because like if I can build trains and I can build a train that takes me, you know, to your base very quickly, like I kind of have an advantage over you. If you're not, I feel like they have to separate people who have the pack and people who don't have the pack into two different servers. Like, you can't let those people play together.
I agree.
100%.
I'm very excited for the train stuff though. Like I'm never much of a Western person, but like I fully intend on firing up Red Dead 2 again, and like going in and like trying to recreate some of the towns and whatnot in Ark.
Ooh,
Yeah, that'd be
that
cool.
would be awesome.
And honestly, like, one of the things though is that, you know, with the new kind of update they gave us, I'm assuming you read the community crunch, and it sounds like the new dev kit update, like, we can do anything. It sounds like you could literally build your own Red Dead Redemption game inside of Ark.
Yeah, I'm not in like anywhere knowledgeable in the dev kit, but I know a few people who are like already diving in there and trying to do some stuff, so I'm excited to see like what people come up with. I don't know that's like, I've seen some other people get into, like, people who start off doing builds get into like doing map creation and stuff. Like, I don't think I have the time to you know, start doing mods too.
Yeah, that's just a lot of work. I mean, like you said,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily go into all that stuff. I'm just going to assume, one, my PC don't run it because this game runs on crazy PC specs, and two, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, I would be right there with you, just starting from absolute scratch, trying to
Yep.
figure out basically
Maybe
how
we
to
can
tie my
learn
shoes in
together.
there.
We can learn together.
Yeah.
Oh man. So other than that, you know, kind of, I don't know if you want this to be a two-part question, but I'll do it anyways. So the two questions are what are some tips for creators that are just getting into Ark? Like, you know, what do you suggest, maybe editing wise, like video wise? And then also, what are your own personal goals for 2024? Like, maybe subscribers, like maybe branch into different channels, you know, whatever.
So, advice I would give, I'm gonna say the opposite of what probably most people say. Most people would tell you, don't look at the numbers. Don't worry about counts. Don't worry about subscribers. Like just make videos. Just do it because you love it. And like, you know, get out there and just like keep going. Like I would say that, just to be real, I think that's some of the most harmful advice people give, because it's like it's the nice thing to say that everybody, like, you know, it's like a good pat on the back type of thing. I think as a new creator, absolutely look at numbers. Like learn the numbers. Don't necessarily worry about them. Don't like get hung up on them, but learn the numbers. Like learn how to look at the numbers and see what is working, and, you know, adjust from there. Like if you're looking at a video and you've got retention, your retention statistics is like everybody's clicking off of this video in the first, you know, 10% of it. Like you're not even getting people to stick around for 1 minute of a 10-minute video. There's something that you need to see in those first minute of, like, is your intro too long? Are you dragging out like an explanation that doesn't need to be drug out? So definitely, like, I would definitely say look at the numbers and, you know, learn them and see like what you can learn, see what you can pull from them information wise to help improve your content. And as far as like editing and making content and stuff, I think it's much more beneficial to kind of think about the idea you want to do, like how you want your channel to be. If you want to be a Let's Play channel, if you want to be a building channel, if you want to be a 100 days channel, whatever you want to do, study the people. There's no shame in studying the people who have done it right. You know, like I think everybody's like very worried. Like obviously you don't copy people. Obviously, like you don't just literally go in there and try to be Ross Clark, right? Yeah. But there's no shame in watching his video and like something like his editing or something and being like, wow, like that's a really good, like I really like that. Like that really works. I wonder, like, you know, and pulling things from different creators that are big and that are successful and things that are clearly working on YouTube or in the niche that you're going for. And before you post, refine your editing, refine your, like, you want to come in hot. Like don't start, like, it's always great, like, once you become successful, I guess, to like go back and watch, like, wow, man, like my first few videos, like, oh man, like I was, that's cringy and stuff. But like, if you want to see like success, because the hardest thing is to like stick through the unsuccessful times. If you want to see that success earlier, you should take some time before you ever post to like really make sure you've got your editing down, how you record, like refine that process before you ever post anything, and come in hot. You know, like you want your first video to be like, wow, this guy, like, wow, man, like you seem like you've been doing this for like 4 years and this is your first video, you know, like, so those are my two biggest things. Like, pay attention to the numbers in a way of like, don't get hung up on them, I guess, like other people say, but pay attention in a way of like you are able to look at them and pull the advice you need from them. And then also, you know, before you ever post, make sure you've got good quality, you're coming in hot, and don't just post anything just to get it out there, I guess. Yeah. And then for the second part, my personal goals, be more consistent is probably like the first one. Just try to get more stuff done, try to find that time, you know. And then if I had to put a number, I don't want to say like anything crazy.
Yeah.
I would say maybe try to double like where I'm at now. Mm-hmm. So like close to 80 maybe.
Okay. Yeah, see, that's cool. See, and that's kind of like, you know, we set our own goals in kind of one of our last things, and you know, even though you said like, you know, you don't want to do nothing crazy, we kind of did the same thing as you, and like we're like, okay, we're gonna double, like hopefully even triple, you know, just, you know, you kind of get yourself in the groove and different things, and you know, you can do it. So
yeah, last year when I started off, I think like New Year I was at like 13 or something, and I was like, you know what, like I was starting to get some momentum, like I was you know, things were picking up because I'd done my first 100 days. And I was like, you know what, like if by the end of this year I'm at 25, like that'll be like a successful year, you know?
Yeah.
And then by the end of the year I was at like 38, like closing in on 38. So now, like, you know, obviously that's an amazing year, more than I ever expected. Yeah. I'm like nervous of saying like I would, like, just because of the current like landscape of Ark and like how things are so split, I'm nervous to say like, oh yeah, like I think like I can continue on that trend of like maybe even doubling again and like, you know, being at like, you know, around 80 at the end of the year, or, you know, 75 or something like that. But hopefully that's the goal. But if it doesn't get there, I won't be heartbroken. You know, I've had a lot of good fortune and success these last years, and also just gotten to work with a lot of great people and stuff. So it'll be fun at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Now, being fun at the end of the day, absolutely fantastic. You mentioned earlier you have a full-time job, you know, you got wife and kids, you got a lot on your table right now. So are you planning, like, if you are able to hit this growth and, you know, continue growing, is this going to maintain, like, as a hobby for you for the rest of your life? Or do you have any goals and ambitions to make this a full-time gig? Like, is your full-time job your dream job, or what are you feeling on that?
So, so I've been at my current job for 12 years.
Good for you.
And well, let's put it this way: I signed a contract. Like, I'm there. I'm going to be there for at least another year. I have another year left on the contract, right on the current contract right now. I'm in the military. I'm not really too worried about saying it. I've said it on my own channel, so like anybody who watches me knows. So I have 8 years left till I can retire, and when I retire at 20 years, like I'll be retiring at 38 and cutting like a percentage of my current pay for the rest of my life. Like every month I will get a paycheck, right? So there's that, like that moment of like, what, like me and my wife have had this discussion, is like, okay, like what would the numbers have to look like? Like honestly, like, you know, like if I make this much now and this is how much I'd get retiring, like at what point would YouTube have to be like, I am doing so well on YouTube that it's like, screw it, like I don't even care about that retirement, you know, like I'm just gonna go for it. I've not gotten close to that number, and I don't see it. I mean, like it's, you know, it would have to be pretty drastic, because like if I've done it for 12 years already, what's 8 more, you know? Like what's 8 more when at the end of the day you're going to be retired, you know, able to collect a paycheck for just the time you've done, basically. So I don't see it becoming a full-time thing within the next 8 years. I hate to say it, because like obviously, like if I did go full, I fully believe if I went full-time tomorrow that I could, you know, really make something of it. But it's just like, it's one of those risks you just can't take, you know, like you have to be smart about it, you know, because you also could have 100%. Like I had this conversation with somebody that a friend that does like makes like the cryopods and stuff. I don't know if you guys have seen them, like the real life cryopods and like eggs and whatnot.
I've seen them on TikTok.
Yeah, so I'm buddies with the guy, or not want to say buddies, but like, you know, I've gotten one from him, who makes them, and we had this conversation. He was like, hey man, like what, like this is before ASA came. I was like, what are you gonna do if like ASA comes out and it like kills the game? Like what if they release ASA and it's like it splits the community completely or something, or people don't move over, and then they close down Ark 1 or ASE, and then it's just like over. I was like, well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I was like, I guess I'll try to do some other games, and if that doesn't work, then I'll just go back to my day job, and we'll just go there and, you know, move on, you know. But
yeah,
so yeah, there's just like that security of having that like in the future on the horizon is like, I don't know that I can just jump off the boat, you know, and give up that retirement coming.
That's fair. I mean, honestly, I would 100% understand that. You know, like you said, you don't just want to, it's like, oh, let's go full into YouTube. And then for whatever reason, if something bad happened and everything flops, you know, what the heck's going to happen next?
Yeah. It's like, I mean, it worked out. Like, one of the people, somebody I know, like, was a teacher when COVID happened and got laid off. And then they were like, I'm going full on YouTube. And now they're super successful. Awesome. But it just is what it is, you know? It's a risk you have to take or be willing to take, and at least for me, I just like you said, I don't feel like the risk is not worth giving up, or the reward is not worth taking the risk of giving up. Like I can't turn back at that point. I can't get out and be like, all right, I'm gonna go do this, and then like a year from now, I'll be like, hey, you know, I really want to come back and finish those 8 years I got left.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That logically makes 100% sense.
So as we're kind of coming up to a wrap, you know, do you have any like shout outs you want to give to someone or anything like that?
Any plugs you want to put either?
I mean, you know, obviously like the interview is sort of a plug for myself. So, you know, just, I'll be, you know, like I said, the 100 days is coming soon. Monarchy's coming around, you know, before too long, hopefully. I think I'm trying to think if there's anybody. I haven't like, I guess I've been kind of, you know, solo playing for a while, so I haven't like really been working with anybody other than like people that are already like obviously already pretty well known people at this point. So I can't think of any plugs or anything. No, I'm drawing a blank.
I feel your pain, man. Jericho, do you have any other questions for him before I start transitioning to some sort of end of show type stuff here?
No, honestly.
Right
End
on.
of show type stuff. All right.
Oh yeah, we're gonna move in. We got a community question that we do every week, and
Oh, nice.
I've been real bad about it, and I don't blame you guys because I've been so bad about it. But we only had one person who answered this week, and that's cool. But it was who else? Our faithful companion, Hail Hydra. So, Hail Hydra 3, I changed my mind about making a live. First off, let me rewind the question. What was your biggest concern about the game right now, and how can it be fixed? Because I said in the episode, if you're going to ever present a problem in life, in business, in anything, always come with at least 2 solutions. So, I asked Hail Hydra. Well, I guess I didn't just ask him, but it seems like it, What is your biggest concern? Hail Hydra said, changed my mind about making alliances due to a whole server hating me for wanting war on a tribe who took my tribe's unicorn over a dead wyvern. Goodbye, Ark. Hello, stranded survivors. Man, that sounds like a whole lot of Jerry Springer stuff. There we go. New
Yeah.
video series, Ark Jerry Springer.
Yeah, there you go. There's some real drama going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. Anytime there's a unicorn, wyvern involved, all that stuff, there's always drama that comes with it. So, sorry to hear that, Hydra. If you want to come play official, you're more than welcome to come hang out with us, but that sucks, man.
Oh, wow. Y'all grinding on official.
Yeah, we have an official server, so if you want to join it, I mean, you're more than welcome to as well. We got an official tribe here on an official PVE server.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Where you guys,
actually,
where you guys based? What you guys got?
right now we're right over on Smuggler's Pass, right along the river there. We built on one side of the ravine and then built a little bridge going across to the other side.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought it up, actually, because it reminds me, we've made a couple changes as far as joining tribes go. So for those of you that are still interested in joining the official tribe, you're more than welcome to. But we talked about sort of putting a little application process through. So at this point, moving forward, if we are having new people joining the Discord and you want to join the tribe, we are going to send you to our sister tribe, Stranded Initiates. And after you sort of, continue to do your thing over there, maybe show them you know what's going on and that you can be trusted in the tribe and stuff, we're going to then bump you up and possibly earn your way into the, the main tribe. And we're trying to sort of keep numbers manageable, prevent anybody from having to become like a full-time admin and all that extra work that comes with security. So the tribes are going to be working together. We're going to have shared storages, shared blueprints, stuff like that. So it's all going to be the same thing. But it'll make things easier to manage as the new maps continue to come out. So if you guys have any questions about that, I understand I just sort of threw a lot at you and I probably didn't do the greatest job explaining it, but if you click down in the links below, you can join our Discord. I'll happily answer whatever questions you have there. You can get vibing with the community, and we can sort of get you in one of these tribes if you want to. So, links in the description down below. I'm also going to put a link that will take you directly to Chipzz YouTube page so you can check out all these sweet builds and sweet videos that we've talked about today. And the last thing I want to say is thank you all for making it this far. And Chipzz, thank you very much for your time, man. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. It's been great. Good just talking some Ark and whatnot and dinosaurs and all that.
Well, the last thing that I really have to say here is one, yes, thank you, Chipzz. We appreciate you being on. Other than that, yeah, make sure you guys go leave a comment, man. We need some more comments here on the Spotify or YouTube, whatever you guys watch from. Leave some comments. Make sure you guys go check out our recent shorts and TikToks, whatever. Make sure you guys go check out Chipzz channel. I hope you guys have a great day or great week.
See you later, everybody.
All right, thanks, guys. Thanks.